So as we go through the full stack development web page and curriculum, of course you want to start out by going over this video here to get an idea of what full stack means and what kind of technologies it integrates to create web applications. But next you would want to watch this video that you're watching now, and once you do that, I have the curriculum broken up into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces or modules, and each module has between 3 to 5 sub modules, right, or lessons. And if you go ahead and take a look at the first, it's HTML and CSS, which is the basic backbone of what a website is constructed using. And so we just built a very simple website here in this lesson, although the end result looks kind of pretty. If I do say so myself, we could maybe take a look at it right here. Yeah, it starts out looking extremely basic with just text on a white screen, but then it eventually looks pretty nice. Maybe I have it here. No, I don't. Okay, well maybe we can take a look at it here. So we have something that looks like that there, right here, right? So we have Google fonts being used. We have different buttons which are rollover, and picture. We have a footer here at the bottom, and this will be our final project for this module. And you could see here in the lessons we have it broken up into task and hint, and then checkup video. So every once in a while I ask you to do a challenge, and the challenge is something that we have already gone over in one of the videos, and I just ask you to re-exercise those skills in a different part of the website. So that's what the HTML CSS is all about. And then we get to responsive, and what is responsive? Well, back in the old days of building websites, if you change the size of the screen, you would get this scroll bar at the bottom because the size of the web page was static. But now you could see here that the images change size as I adjust the screen size, and this is basically how you would view the web page when you're looking on it on your cell phone, right? And this is how you view it when you're on a desktop. So now there's really no need for creating two different web pages, one for mobile and one for desktops. You could just put it onto one, and this is what this lesson series goes through. Using the skeleton boilerplate, we incorporate that into our existing web page to make it responsive, and then we add to it by creating the web page that's going to house our cookie clicker game, right, which is our project for the next lesson series. And then we come on down here to cookie clicker, and I don't know, back in 2014, which maybe is dated by now, there was this web game, this web application, and you click on the cookies, you increase your number of cookies which you use to buy your different buildings. The buildings give you an increased number of cookies per second, and your cookies increase without you having to click on the cookie, right? This goes up to astronomical numbers, where you got like 9.89 times e to the 35, right? So it's basically a never-ending game, and the buildings get increasingly more expensive and more valuable, and it just kind of feeds on our need to hoard, right? So that's what we're going to recreate over here, maybe not in all of its glorious JavaScript animation, but we will build the basic game for it, right? The same game, and we're going to be learning about JavaScript through the process. So and then we come over here. Well, once we have our cookie clicker game, well, over here there is a login, right? And there is like a username, password, which is why when I log into the game, it automatically loads the number of cookies I last had and the number of cookies per second and the buildings I've purchased and how many I've bought. So that's what we're going to be doing here. And in order to do that, the first thing you need to do is construct the login system. And in order to construct the login system, then you need to integrate a database to your website. So the two technologies that we use to do that are MySQL and PHP. There's different ways you could do this. You could do this using .NET. You could do it using Python. And there's different database systems that you can use as well. We're using MySQL because it's free. And yeah, very popular. PHP is very easy to use. Well, relatively speaking, it's easy to use, and it's best used to prototype a website and get it up and running quickly. Right. The other technologies, they take a little bit more. They're a little bit deeper and they take a little bit more time in your understanding. But the other technologies, you're able to scale up. Right, and by scale up, I mean once we go ahead and create our login system, create our cookie clicker game, publish it on the web, and it becomes really popular, then PHP is going to crash, right? Because you have too many people coming and trying to access the site at the same time. But then in the other technologies, you're able to like direct the traffic to different servers and kind of scale up easier. So that's what we're going to be using, right? And although it's not like what's used in commercial web applications, it will give you an idea of the different technologies that are needed to create a web application, right? So we're going to do that, and then once we create our login system, then we're going to have to do our save and reset, right? So that whole action of saving the number of cookies that you have, you go into your account on the database, which is marked by a primary key, and then you store your number of cookies and the number of buildings you have here, and the cookies per second, all into your row in a database, which you could think of as like an Excel spreadsheet, right? One row is per account, and once you save your information, well, of course you want to possibly reset, right? So you have to have a reset button as well. Yeah, and then here, in addition to using PHP and SQL to insert the data into the database, we also learn about Ajax, which is short for asynchronous JavaScript and XML. And this is a really cool technology that came out, I don't know, like it seems like yesterday to me, but it was like, I don't know, 6 years ago or something like that. And the way that works is it runs queries or requests for information from the database and inserts it into a web page without the user having to leave the web page. Right? Like when you're on Google Drive or Gmail, and suddenly an email that was just sent pops up on your web page. Right? That's Ajax. That's being used to have that happen. So what's happening is you're viewing your Gmail account. In the background, there are questions, right? Requests for information from the database on your account, checking if there's any new emails, right? Say every 20 seconds. And then let's say somebody sent one, it's inserted into the database. And then on that next request for information to the database, it says, hey, there's a new one. It grabs it and inserts it into your web page without you having to do anything on your side, right? Without you having to press like a new email button in order to see the new emails that were sent to you. So that's Ajax and XML, and the last lesson is to export it to a server and set up the database on the server so that you can publish onto the web. So in a nutshell, that's all we're going to be doing here. And although all these terms like PHP, SQL, HTML, CSS, all these crazy acronyms, it's kind of like me describing a fruit that you have never eaten before, right? Like jackfruit, right? And I'll start using all these terms to describe the different flavors but you've never eaten it before, so you might be thinking I'm kind of crazy, right? Or you watch a YouTube video about some guy waxing philosophical on psychology, right? And you're not familiar with psychology, right? So these terms you don't understand. But then once you take the time to understand what they're talking about, then it's not as complex and mysterious as it was the first time around, right? That's the same thing here. All of this stuff is really simple. So once you get through this lesson series, you'll be able to like speak on what Ajax is and all this other stuff with authority, right? And this lesson series is not difficult. I would say like from 0 to 10, it would be like maybe a 5. But of course, I'm here to help you whenever you get stuck. So that's what we're going to be doing.